Hello and welcome to a wonderful series that's named Reflections, where we listen to stories that recharge and rejuvenate us. And today we have with us a wonderful speaker, Maureen Chen. Welcome, Maureen. Maureen has begun her association with the Brahma Kumaris since 1977, and since then started on this journey of meditation practice and spiritual service. And that's almost 45 years now. Based in Asia since 1981, Maureen has helped to establish and sustain various BK meditation centers throughout Asia. She has been involved in national and international programs and is also an author of autobiography, which is named Mystic at the Edge, a Western Woman Colored by Asia. And Maureen currently coordinates the Yarra Valley Retreat Center in Victoria. And the story Maureen is going to share today is titled Independence and Interdependence. And in Maureen's words, she says, working with people in Cambodia who have lost limbs from landmines, I saw there are few limits to independence, and I experienced a positivity that was off the scale. It's too hard to complain after that. I think it's a very deep and touching experience that you might have had. So we are really eager and looking forward to hearing from you. So a very warm welcome, Maureen, and it's over to you.
Thank you, Lata, and lovely to be with all of you. Yes, as mentioned, I spent many years in Asia, and in fact 4 years in Siem Reap in Cambodia. And I came across a group of people who were actually being used, and I would say abused, by an agent who would have them perform but not pass on the money, quite generous amounts of money that were being given by tourists in a 5-star hotel. And when I came to see this, I just thought, there's got to be another way to help them. And the main thing is to help them to be independent. So I happen to have a friend in Hong Kong, and she creates jewelry using Chinese knotting. So it's silk or beautiful thread, and she uses semi-precious stones, the crystals and beautiful gems. So she came over with a friend, and we set up with these people an NGO called KILT, Khmer Independent Life Team, with the aim of helping them to be independent. We rented a room in a hotel, got them new clothes so that they could really feel that they could move into the hotel circles and sell the beautiful jewelry that was worth quite good money, because, you know, there was jade and beautiful stones being used. So it went very, very, very well. We helped them to build a little hut where they could make the jewelry, and volunteers could come and help them. And it was just an amazing experience, because even building that little thatched hut, people with one arm, with one leg, they were going up the ladders and working on the roof. They were just amazing. And Bell, who was the main instrument, he had one leg, but he rode a motorbike or a push bike, whichever suited the time. And one of the other lovely gentlemen, he had lost both legs to landmine, and he was able to get on and off the wheelchair and move around so freely. They really didn't need help to live. That was fine. They were able to really do anything. And in fact, one time, Bell said to me, because the people with one hand couldn't make jewelry, so he said he felt sorry for them. And I said, but Bell, you only have one leg. Why are you feeling sorry? He said, but I can do everything. And that's what I saw. So it was really a great learning for me. So when we're talking about being independent and interdependent, this is the joy, because, you know, actually we did help them with the skill. We helped them to bring in the jewelry. In fact, my friend, you know, was a little bit wealthy, so she was able to provide the stones and the thread. But they went on to become independent. They now have a website. They are able to make jewels from the jewelry from what they find locally, because there's actually very good stone also in Cambodia. And they have learned to carve. They've got a machine to cut. And so they train other people. And Kilt is flourishing. They don't make the kind of high-end jewelry that we had introduced them to, but possibly this is easier for them. And so, you know, they're doing okay. Of course, you know, please do look it up, KILT, and see their website. There might be something you're interested in to support them. But this whole topic of independent and interdependent, I also saw little struggles, because we very much wanted them to be independent, but they also benefited from the interdependence, because we were able to introduce them to the hotels. We were able to provide the materials, help them to have confidence, also tried to enroll them in courses so they would learn how to manage an NGO. So we were able to help. But why I say interdependent is there's a beautiful line in the poem of Khalil Gibran on giving. And he says, rise together on the gift as on wings. And that was the beautiful experience, that they benefited, but we benefited just as much because, as I said, you know, seeing how they could manage their lives and be so independent and so happy and resilient because, you know, Bell stayed on the first floor of the building. He would go up and down the stairs, no problem. And he was also able to, when they had a flood, they were able to manage somehow, even though their house got flooded, they had to go up on the first floor and be able to cook and live and do everything up there. Just amazing, the circumstances and situations I saw them facing. And so, as I said, you know, it is very hard to complain when you see people being able to manage their lives so very brilliantly. And so there is, you know, the aim of being able to help people to be independent. But the interdependence, I would say, is also something to learn, because sometimes they also tried to be, you know, completely independent, and we weren't able to help. Maybe that was also our need to be able to help. I'm not sure. We have to check ourselves whenever we offer assistance to anyone, that we really respect what it is that they want and they need, and to really listen to that. And I think possibly that was some years ago, it was 2009. I could have listened a little bit more to what they wanted and what they needed, rather than possibly thinking we think we know what they need. And the interdependence, there's a line that says, you know, it's something to celebrate that we aren't able to do everything ourselves. Because if we could do everything ourselves, we wouldn't need each other at all. And life is about relationship. And relationship is cooperation. And I'm sure you have experienced that when we have opportunities to cooperate, there's so much joy in that situation. And I would say the best memories I have in my life are when there's been cooperation, the very joyful experience of coming together. And as they say with synergy, the whole is greater than each part, like the 5 hands, you know, 5 fingers on the hand, you know, each one can do something, but nothing compared to what a hand can do. And so this is what we call synchronicity, when we can come together with almost, it's like a power of cooperation. So it was a very great experience, and there's a lot more to share, but I'd really like to know if you have any comments or questions on this topic. You can put them in the chat and Lotta will help us.
Thank you, Maureen. I really like the qualities that you mentioned about, one was about resilience and other is cooperation. Just thinking about both, I think one is like the physical way, but resilience is also about the power of the mind, because unless you feel that you will be able to overcome it or capable of doing something, that you won't be resilient enough. And once you have that power, you are able to cooperate with others or take cooperation also in a way. So do you feel there's a connection between both these qualities?
Yes, and resilience is a very interesting word because it's, often compared to a rubber band. When we stretch the rubber band, sometimes it's nearly at breaking point, and we feel like that many times. But if we're able to go back, if the band is able to go back to what it was, then it's restored. But the thing is, we need to know who we are when we can go back to who we are. So experiencing peace, experiencing strength and cooperation, we know what is the normal. And so resilience is being able to go back. And so the more we are stretched also in our mind to what is normal, because, seeing these people in Cambodia and the way they were able to manage their life almost effortlessly, like seeing him ride a motorbike, seeing him ride the bicycle for 15 kilometers, not just a short distance down the road. In fact, he offered to give me a lift on the motorbike. And I said, you sure you're able to balance? But he was able to, and he didn't even think twice. So often we feel, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I think also cooperation is having trust in the other person. I had trust in him that he could manage. And so, that builds up his confidence even more. And I developed trust even more because it actually did work. So it's just wonderful to interact with people and learn and grow. And this is where interdependence takes us. If we just try to be independent, maybe we can manage to a certain degree, but we get a little bit dry and it doesn't involve so much relationship, which is actually, what are we here for? It's for relationship. We don't want to just live alone. We may as well, like they say, no man is an island. And I don't think anyone really wants to live like that.
Yes, so true. And I think when there's a beautiful relationship, there's harmony, as they say. And it's always a learning. When we see others, we meet and we talk to them, we learn something as well. So because no one knows everything, as they say, no one's perfect. So I mean, there might be a moment when we feel, oh, I know a lot, but there's always scope till the very end. So I think when we meet others and we look at their qualities, we kind of bring them into our lives as well.
Yeah.
And that's a very good way to
Yeah.
live.
And I would say what I learned from this experience was to listen. I don't think at that time I really listened to the team, the Khmer Independent Life team, enough, because I did think I knew how I could help them. So that is something, if I could go back, I would, do more of, but that's what I've learned. And that's what it's all about, learning and growing. And you go on to the next scene, the next situation. And, you were speaking about harmony. I think when there isn't harmony, it's often because we're not listening. So that's a very big part of relationship. Relationship needs to be two ways, not just what I think and sharing my ideas, but really being able to listen to the needs and the wishes of the other.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going beyond the temporary beliefs or ideas that we kind of create on the way, which may be temporary or false, but the reality is something else. And when we break that barrier and there's no filter, that's when we see the beauty and there's harmony. Yeah, wonderful. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing this beautiful story. And as you mentioned about resilience is going back to your inner self, like, and you mentioned about qualities of peace, love, which is original nature. Would you be okay to lead us into a meditation with a commentary so our viewers can experience that as well?
Yeah, sure. And I have shared with you some music from Cambodia. It's like a Cambodian meditation music using Cambodian instruments. So yeah, we can have a little that very softly because it can be a little high note on a flute, but yeah, I'd love to do that. Thank you. So let's think about celebrating what we can't do rather than trying to do everything ourselves. Let go, open up, and allow the cooperation and specialities of others into your life. As I journey, I learn so much from others. I grow and I come to know myself. I really need to know what I'm made of. What is my true nature? So that I can come back to who I am. By just remembering. When I'm stretched, sometimes to my limits, I know that I can come back to who I am. Being of peace, still. Let me pause for peace. Throughout the day, and avoid being stretched too much. But also know that our limits are probably a lot greater than we give ourselves credit for. And yet still, we need to know our limits. So we don't break. Pause for peace. And next time we think of complaining, think of the many people and how they endure their resilience. And we can be inspired. No. But they're just limits I place on myself. And I can do more.
Thank you, Maureen, for that beautiful experience. And the music also wonderful.
Yeah, it took me back to Cambodia and the peaceful feeling in the rice fields there and the beautiful smiles of the people. So lovely to share that with you.
Thank you. And it was really inspiring. And I think has put in a seed in all our viewers in the minds to think deeply about interdependence and independence, what it really means. So thank you once again for joining us and sharing your wisdom with us today.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
And for our online viewers, if you would like to know more about us, please do visit our website, www.brahmakumaris.org.au, where there are different programs and events listed. So thank you once again for joining us today, and we'll meet you again in a couple of weeks. Till then, take care and enjoy your independence. Om Shanti.